to send us to private schools, and we all are successful professionals. In the eyes of my parents, lying about someone or something was the lowest thing a person could do. My father always said a liar was nothing more than a coward. They taught me to respect others, and prejudice, racism, and discrimination was never tolerated in any shape or form. I thank God for those two wonderful people I called Mom and Dad. With regards to the last LSC meeting, Mr. Forcher, you publicly brought up an issue regarding your son that took place about 2 years ago. At that time, you, your wife, Ms. Brickert, and I sat down to discuss the matter. For all purposes, I was led to believe that the issue was resolved. You shook my hand, smiled, and expressed how much you like teachers. This is why I was at a loss when you brought up a 2-year issue that had been resolved. Here's an exit slip your son wrote about drama class. I feel like I learned not to be nervous on stage or in front of people. This might help with job interviews. Mr. Marinukes, your daughter was on my leadership team last year. It was a pleasure to have her, and I think she gained a great number of leadership skills from me before she graduated. She also thanked me and told me how much she enjoyed being on the leadership program. Also, I coached her son, who had one of the lead roles in James and the Giant Peach. As rehearsals went on, he gained confidence and truly made the role his own. He could not have accomplished what he did had he experienced any feelings of intimidation. I let him know how proud I was of him. In either case, not once did I hear a concern from you regarding bullying taking place, and yet you publicly labeled me a bully. Who is the bully? Parents have always been welcome in my drama classes. However, I have never seen you, Mr. Forcher, Mr. Marinukes, or Mr. Seabank come by, and yet you have the audacity to make such public remarks about me. I have to ask, what is behind all this?
What?
During the last LSC meeting, there were remarks made about me screaming and yelling at the students during my classes. I taught in the annex for a number of years. It is a wide open area. Mr. Mark, the lunchroom manager, and Jessica Fuentes, supervisor of Right at School, worked in that area every day. Ms. Vecchione's art class was right next door. People were always going through. So if there were any screaming, yelling, and bullying going on, I most certainly believe it would have been noticed. And I have no doubt been reported to Ms. Kipp and Ms. Alvarez. Finally, Mr. Seabank, I'll read the exit slips your son and daughter wrote about my drama.
It is
program.
not appropriate.
It's not appropriate.
What I learned in drama is how to speak in front of people better. Also, I learned how to stay in character and express emotions of my character.
Response.
I know.
Your son. In drama, since first grade, I have been taught to be a better speaker in front of big audiences and how to memorize things better and easier. I feel I have mastered both of these things because I am able to talk in front of a big audience without being shy, and I am able to memorize things easier. So those are the things I mastered in drama. And here's an exit slip from another student. So I just wanted to say that this year I learned so much from drama. I was such a shy kid who couldn't really raise their voice, but when I started to read and act out those monologues, I felt like a new person. Something that has been very helpful was when Miss Garcia started to write down things we needed to work on when we read our monologues, like if there is any grammar mistakes, punctuation, and even speed. Another thing that was helpful was when we got to write our own scripts and present it to the class. I am not the best writer, but I'm still working on it since I'm bilingual. Without Miss Garcia, none of these things would have been possible. Since the last public LSC meeting, I've been wondering what your innuendo was when you publicly stated that it was creepy when you said I requested the students be alone with me and that you were going to watch me closely. I merely meant for the students to find a location where they would not be distracted. And yes, class started late because there were technical difficulties which I resolved. In all my years as a teacher, I have never had anyone make an insinuating remark about me as you publicly did. What did you intend to achieve by your public comment? Haven't we suffered enough tragedy in the last years pertaining to the behavior of a teacher who left our community in shock and devastated? He was of Hispanic heritage, but despite the words of a public official, we are not all thieves, rapists, or pedophiles. As pertains
Well, in the
to
race
all
car.
cultural groups,
Yeah.
the vast majority of us are people of the highest ethics and integrity. And not too long ago, a good-natured teacher who had taken over many responsibilities of a classroom teacher at substitute pay was driven from waters by insinuations which left her, a mother of a biracial child, in tears and in disbelief regarding the accusations of misconduct with children that were made against her. This being said, Mr. Seabank, I think it's quite clear now what you were trying to accuse me of, and through your implication, trying to malign my good character. I say this again with great emphasis. This is an insinuation that prior to this,
called
no
us all
one would
racist.
ever have made about me at any time in my long career. Why would you do such a thing? Again, I am a Mexican-American woman. In the eyes of my Mexican parents, lying about someone or something was the lowest thing a person could do. My Mexican father always said a liar was nothing more than a coward.
Why is she getting more than 2
Prejudice,
minutes?
racism, and discrimination were horrible things never tolerated in my
Because
Mexican
they're
parents'
cowed by
home.
her.
This has just sickened me. But a woman must do what she must to defend herself and stand up for her rights against those who would deliberately and publicly attempt to dishonor her. And by the way, a former student
6
of mine
minutes.
stopped by to say, I am the man that I am today because of you, Miss Garcia.
Oh.
Thank you. Perhaps it would do the three of you good if you participated in our Choose Love program. In preparing this statement, I kept in mind what Chief Justice Ginsburg's mother advised her, which were two things: be a lady and be independent. Be a lady meant don't give way to emotions that sap your energy like anger. Take a deep breath and speak calmly. Thank you, Mr. Rieger, for I appreciate you allowing me this time.